In response to Google getting all the love for Gemini 3 and their TPU architecture, Sam Altman has declared code red. And according to the information, they have a new secret model in the works called Garlic. All right, let me take a step back. I just made a video about how Google is probably the best positioned company to win artificial intelligence. They have everything. They have a frontier model. They have AI infrastructure. They have custom silicon. They have a ton of revenue. They have a ton of great researchers. And of course, a massive amount of data. And so Google, after last week, has really planted their flag on the AI hill. And it seems everyone was mogging OpenAI. According to SemiAnalysis, OpenAI's leading researchers have not completed a successful full-scale pre-training run that was broadly deployed for a new frontier model since GPT-4o in May 2024. That is over a year and a half ago, highlighting the significant technical hurdle that Google's TPU fleet has managed to overcome. So apparently we have hit a wall in pre-training scaling. Ilya Sutskever, OpenAI co-founder, current founder of Safe Superintelligence, one of the leading minds in AI, just did a podcast with Dwarkesh Patel in which he basically said the age of scaling is over. We are transitioning back to the age of research, meaning we need new ideas, we need new algorithms. Just scaling up what we're doing currently is not working anymore. Watch this.
From 2012 to 2020, it was the age of research. Now, from 2020 to 2025, it was the age of scaling. But now the scale is so big, like, is the belief really that, oh, it's so big, but if you had 100x more, everything would be so different? I don't think that's true.
Andrej Karpathy, another famed AI researcher, AI thought leader, also said something similar on the Dwarkesh Patel podcast. And of course, Jan LeCun has been saying this for a while. Large language models in their current form are running out of space to grow. We need new ideas. This is becoming so prominent, it's even becoming memes. Look at this. So here's Ilya, scaling is over and LLMs are a dead end. Aw, you're so sweet. And then of course, LeCun comes in, scaling is over and LLMs are a dead end. Hello, human resources. And LeCun loved it. He thought it was hilarious. And you know what? It really was, because LeCun has been saying this for years and years. Then Google came out with Gemini 3. And Gemini 3 showed scaling is far from dead, but maybe there's something unique about Google, something unique about the way they're doing things or their architecture that allowed them to scale past what everybody else said was the wall. And a lot of people are pointing to their TPUs. The TPU is Google's own custom silicon to run artificial intelligence. They've been building TPUs for years and years, and now the benefit of all that work is finally coming to fruition. And they put out an absolutely massive model that performs incredibly well. And people started counting out OpenAI, but don't count them out quite yet. Sam Altman just this week told OpenAI, we are going code red. This means working to improve the quality of ChatGPT and the grand model race at the sacrifice of progressing other products. According to this Wall Street Journal article, Altman said OpenAI had more work to do on the day-to-day experience of its chatbot, including improving personalization features for users, increasing its speed and reliability, and allowing it to answer a wider range of questions. Now, what is interesting about this quote is they don't really talk about the quality. And to be honest, and I've been saying this for a while, the quality, the core intelligence of these models, they're there. We really, for 99% of use cases, don't really need higher intelligence models. Now, of course, I will be happy if these labs continue to improve the quality of the models and continue to improve the intelligence of the models. Yes, of course. But what we need is all the things around it, the scaffolding. And that's what he's talking about here, the day-to-day experience. And for 99% of use cases and 99% of users, the day-to-day experience is everything. The models are good enough to serve the vast majority of most people's use cases. And so we're at this interesting time. Google finally caught up. They released an incredibly good frontier model, beating OpenAI's models on many benchmarks. Their usage is growing. They went from 450 million active users to just a few months later, 650 million active users. We have OpenAI, whose growth seems to be slowing down. They are nearing or almost at 1 billion active users. But as I said in a previous video, Google is incredibly well positioned. They have diversity of revenue. They have a ton of cash on hand. They have multiple business lines that they can tap into to fund and lose money on the AI side of their business while they compete with OpenAI and Anthropic. But again, don't count OpenAI out. And by the way, if you want the easiest way to test all of these models without just having to pick one subscription to go with, try out the sponsor of today's video, Chat LLM by Abacus. There are so many AI tools out there, it becomes incredibly expensive to get access to them all. Trust me, I know, and there's a better way. With Chat LLM by Abacus AI, you get access to ChatGPT 5, O3 Pro, Gemini 3 Pro, Claude 4.5, Grok 4, DeepSeek, and many others. And with Route LLM, it automatically picks the best model for whatever prompt you give it. And you get the latest image generation models like Seed Dream, Nano Banana, Ideogram Flux, and more. And you can even generate video, Kling, Runway, Helio, with just a simple prompt. And now you can access the latest Opus 4.5 and Nano Banana Pro easily in one place with Chat LLM. And their humanized feature turns obviously AI written text into something that looks more human. So it goes from boring AI generated to something unique and compelling. And last, they also have Deep Agent, which is a powerful general agent that can build websites, apps, AI agents, chatbots, presentations, and complete research reports. And all of this is just $10 per month. Visit their website by clicking the link down below. That lets them know I sent you. And thanks again to Abacus. Now back to the video. Mark Chen, Chief Research Officer at OpenAI, just did a podcast in which he said,
pre-training specifically, supercharging our pre-training efforts for the last half year. I think it's a result of some of those efforts together with Jakob, focusing and building that muscle of pre-training at OpenAI, crafting a really superstar team around it, making sure that all of the important areas and aspects of pre-training are emphasized. That's what creates the artifacts today that feels like we can go head to head with Gemini 3 easily on pre-training.
And so there it is. He explicitly said it. Yes, we have some tricks left. And yes, we're forming and continuing to build out our superstar team to focus on pre-training to specifically compete with Google. He didn't mention Anthropic. He didn't mention XAI. He mentioned Google by name.
We think there's a lot of room in pre-training. A lot of people say scaling is dead. We don't think so at all. I think it's a little bit of an alpha for us because we think there's so much room left in pre-training. And I think as a result of these efforts, we've been training much stronger models, and that also gives us a lot of confidence carrying into, Gemini 3 and other releases coming this end of the year.
And so there it is. Chief Research Officer at OpenAI saying pre-training is not dead. RL was incredibly important. We spent time on it. We maybe had a little bit of muscle atrophy on the pre-training side, but now we are back. We are back to pre-training and we are going hard. And they have a model cooking. Now that might be what the information just reported on. Let's take a look. So according to the information, this article just came out. OpenAI is developing Garlic, a model to counter Google's recent gains. Again, on the pre-training front, Google really just set the industry ablaze on how much they were able to scale up pre-training and have this incredible model. And now Garlic is the counter argument to Google's Gemini. Last week, OpenAI's Chief Research Officer Mark Chen told some colleagues about the new model, which was performing well on the company's evaluations, at least when compared to Gemini 3 and Anthropic's Opus 4.5. Now remember, it might be performing well on the benchmarks and they might not even be done cooking it. It just might be a checkpoint that they're testing against. And that just makes it super exciting. Of course, the pre-training might plateau, but it is exciting nonetheless. And as part of Sam Altman's Code Red inside OpenAI, OpenAI has a new reasoning model it is preparing to launch that is ahead, quote, ahead of Gemini 3 and OpenAI's internal evaluations, Altman told colleagues Monday. And we might get a December surprise. That might mean GPT 5.2 or even 5.5 by the end of this year. But Garlic is different from this other model codenamed Shallot Pete, which has had a lot of rumors circling around it lately. But Garlic incorporates bug fixes that the company used in developing Shallot Pete during the pre-training process. And according to the Kobayashi letter, internal memos show that OpenAI is pausing projects like ads and shopping to focus on improving ChatGPT's performance. So, kind of glad to hear that. I don't need ads. I want them to focus on everything else that makes the experience of ChatGPT better. And let me talk about that for a moment. Now, a handful of people that I've spoken to recently, including Jonah from my own team, has said that they have almost entirely switched to Google Gemini, but they're not the normal user, and I'm not the normal user. When we're talking about the average general AI user, they don't care about these incremental improvements in the core intelligence of the model. What they want, as I said earlier in this video, is the best overall experience. And right now, ChatGPT is still at the frontier. Google's Gemini is incredible. And of course, because they have distribution with Google search, they are going to continue to grow their user base and share of the market. But for most people, ChatGPT was their first exposure to AI and likely will just continue to be. There would have to be major issues with ChatGPT for the majority of people to want to switch off of it. Remember, ChatGPT is the verb, similar to how Google was with search. Go Google it. Well, with AI, the verb is still ChatGPT, and the ChatGPT experience is still killer. And so, even though we have some people at the frontier of usage of these models, of these products, switching to whichever one is best at the moment, the vast majority of the population who uses AI won't be doing that. Don't count OpenAI out. They definitely have increased competition in this moment, but you know what? You know who benefits from all of this cutthroat competition? Is us, the consumers of these products and services. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.